Good evening. Hope you're doing well as we find ourselves here for the Scotland versus Switzerland watch along. Hope you've enjoyed the football so far as we start to see the second round of games kick off from today onwards. So I'm sure you guys probably have enjoyed the Albania match that took place earlier where Croatia drew 2-2. And that was a fascinating game in itself. But we were also blessed by a masterclass by the Germans again as they saw off Hungary 2-0. So some classic performances again from the Germans there, and in particular Jamal Musiala. Oh, that guy is on fire right now. But I'm delighted to say there's a few of you already joining me now for this Scotland versus Switzerland watch along. So get your comments, get your questions in as we go along. More importantly, join in. Let me know what your thoughts are so far of today's matches in particular. So in inevitable form, let us start off by talking about both of these sides. So I'll start sharing my screen and we'll kind of dive into the actual teams that have been selected. It looks for the majority, and I'm just going to give it a brief second because I can see it's not yet sharing, but it is now. So let's dive into that Scotland squad. As you can see, for the majority of it, you can see that Scotland are sticking to the same variation in terms of formation as they did against the Germans, with some really similar personnel, really. I suppose the omissions here. So we've got the likes of Ryan Jack, that's been replaced by Billy Gilmour. So I think that will solidify that midfield. And certainly Gilmour has something about him, potentially from a defensive aspect, that will help from a Scotland point of view. And then we've got Grant Hanley, who's been brought in because of Ryan Porteous, who got that red card against the Germans. But otherwise, really much unchanged. Bit of a surprise given that Scotland have to go into this match needing a win. That's my kind of perspective, because you don't want to kind of rely on the last game being the kind of ultimate game where you get that result. So question marks about Paul McGregor potentially. Can he be enough of an attacking outlet in this particular match and supports Shea Adams? I have my doubts given what we saw against the Germans. And in particular, they cannot shy away in the same format as they did. So it'll be fascinating to see whether Gilmour is enough of an addition or whether they're going to have to maybe explore some other options. Obviously, there's a lot of hype potentially of Lyndon Dykes maybe being brought in for this. But as I can see, if we scroll down, and in particular, looking at the substitute bench itself, there is no Lyndon Dykes for this match. We've got the likes of Tommy Conway, Lewis Morgan, and as well as Lawrence Shankland. That could potentially be that outlet if they need to kind of change it up. The likes of James Forrest as well, offering that pace down the wings as well. So, yeah, Scotland unchanged from what we saw against Germany in particular. If we move into the Swiss side, as you can see, a lot of those fans that are used to maybe a bit of Serie A as well as Premier League action will recognise a lot of these individuals. Looking at the back line, the likes of Jan Sommer, who's had a fantastic season for Inter Milan. Basically, I fancy this Swiss side being the dark horses for this tournament, just purely because they've got really a good blend of mixture of experience as well as exciting players. But looking at that back line, as I say, not only have you got Jan Sommer, the likes of Manuel Akanji, who's been absolutely brilliant for Man City, Ricardo Rodriguez, who plays for Torino. He can intertwine between that kind of centre-back position as well as being kind of an attacking outlet. So whether that be from the left-hand side defensively or potentially pushing into that wing-back position. We've got Abisher as well, who's had a fantastic season with Bologna. Hasn't necessarily contributed a lot in terms of that goal contribution and assist element, but he will be solid in that role as well. Looking at the far right-hand side, Fabian Schär, I mean, it's fair to say he's had a hot and cold season due to injuries, mainly more so, but he is really dependable in that position. Granit Xhaka as well in that middle of the park is going to be relied upon as being maybe the kind of Pirlo-esque regista, I would anticipate. He can get himself around the pitch, but more importantly, he's a bit more rougher than, shall we say, Pirlo. He's a lot more aggressive with the ball. So anticipate him to be in the action, or at least the thick of it. We've got Frela as well, who's come back to Italy as well off the back of that loan spell with. It wasn't actually a loan spell, sorry. It was a permanent move to Nottingham Forest. I do forget about these things, but yeah, he's back in Serie A. Interesting to see how he kind of progresses today. But the one that I want to kind of highlight is probably the likes of Ruben Vargas. A lot was made of his last performance against Hungary, so anticipate him to potentially be good. Shedrin Shaqiri as well. Obviously, we know a lot about him from his exploits in the Premier League. Obviously, now these days at Chicago Fire. So what can he do? He hasn't had maybe necessarily the most spectacular of seasons, but certainly someone that I'd probably say at this tournament, he can certainly thrive. And then we've got likes of Ndoye, who's had a fantastic season for Bologna. Maybe a bit of a surprise given, I suppose, the performances that we saw in the first game against Hungary. So maybe Murat Yakin, should I say, the coach here, maybe thinking that, look, Scotland's are going to be potentially attacking them, so they need to solidify in that middle of the park, maybe match them up like for like. Get your thoughts below, but certainly I was surprised to see Ndoye. I thought they might have gone a bit more bolder, perhaps go with two strikers. And if we allude to the striker situation, you've got the likes of Noah Okafor, Kwade Doué, who scored that first goal for the Swiss against Hungary, and Brett Mbolo. Again, a player that I really do like. I think he will do well. He hasn't had a fantastic season, it's fair to say, but I think in the tournament he could do well. Zeki Amodini, who had a fantastic spell with Burnley. I expect him to push on for next season, whether that be at Burnley or elsewhere. But otherwise, you've got mainly a majority of Swiss-born players here. And yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how that kind of pans out as well. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing. Obviously, I think this is going to be an interesting game. Personally, I still think the Swiss are going to win this match, in particular against Scotland's, based on the performance. I mean, obviously, I think we will see a different Scotland squad or different team, should I say, in comparison to the Scotland team that we saw on Friday against the Germans. And inevitably, I think there will be a slight dip in comparison versus the Swiss. However, it will be fascinating. Get your thoughts in. Let's get your questions as well as we go along, as I see the teams are about to come out of the tunnel as well. And yeah, please let me know what your thoughts are of the previous games. So we obviously saw earlier today Albania getting points for the first time at the tournament. They got a 2-2 draw against the Croats. The Croats looks like they were on their knees at the end of this game. Possibly a bit fortuitous because there was an own goal that gave them the kind of favourable lead in the match. And they did seem to dominate that second half in particular, despite going behind to an early goal. However, full of credit to Albania, they got themselves back into the game itself. So fascinating for how that maybe plays out in terms of that dynamic in that group in particular. Obviously, we've got Italy and Spain playing tomorrow, which I'll be doing the watch along for. So yeah, that'll be fascinating as well. And then obviously earlier today in this particular group that we're talking about as we're watching Scotland versus Switzerland, we saw Germany annihilate Hungary. Hungary look like they're packing the bags, ready to go home. Marco Rossi not having a great time. Fascinating kind of situation, I suppose, as well from a Hungarian perspective, because I think there was a lot of expectation maybe that they would do better than they've kind of displayed. Again, capture your thoughts. What did you think of the match itself? We're just about to see the guys now jump out of the tunnel here. And yeah, let's get your predictions before they start playing the anthems and before kickoff starts. What do you think the scoreline's going to be here? Like I say, I'm going to put my hat on Switzerland and I'm going to call it 2-0 Switzerland. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, whilst we go along, any kind of footballing questions you want to talk about or discuss, please, if you could do me a favor, get onto the YouTube stream, get your kind of comments on there, because for some reason the software is not necessarily pulling through those comments from Instagram or Twitter. So please, if you could do me a favor, go on to there. And if you haven't already done so, if you aren't a subscriber to our channel, that would be really appreciated. We're trying to get to the 500 followers mark. We're only on 293. So yeah, we're trying our best. even let us know what you think we could do as content. That would be really appreciated. Between myself and Rory, we'll do our best to kind of get something for you guys. If you think this is a good thing, maybe to discuss in the upcoming season about Serie A as well, let us know, more importantly. But just as we're speaking, the national anthem's being played out, the Swiss initially. You have to say, even from just looking at this, the Swiss have got some really tall players in this squad. So I wonder if that plays a part, especially when I consider how tall the actual Scottish team is in general. They don't seem to be of a certain height, should we say. So yeah, this is going to be a fascinating matchup. Scottish national anthem about to be played now as well. One observation as well, actually, the Cologne Stadium looks absolutely epic, doesn't it? A really traditional ground. And it's absolutely massive in there as well. But the atmosphere is, I can't actually hear it, so you'll have to let me know in the stream what you think of the atmosphere. But it does look like it's quite loud in there. They looked quite pumped up, I have to say, to credit to the Scots. It's definitely that national anthem that gets them fired up. And you can see the reaction as that plays out. And they anticipate the first half of this football. If you've just joined us, get us your predictions as we go along. What are your thoughts? What are your questions? What do you think of the football so far played today in particular? Some great performances out there, in particular from the likes of Albania. Again, a team that I really have been very impressed by. They've done superbly well to get to this stage, but they're not disappointing, are they? They have really gone about their business really well. Silvino leading them through the group fantastically from a qualification point of view. You know, maybe people will argue that it didn't have necessarily a hard group in Poland as well as the Czech Republic, Moldova, Faroe Islands. So some fairly winnable games, in particular when they beat the Poles under Fernando Santos at the time. Absolutely terrible campaign from a Poland perspective, but they managed to navigate past that via the home nations and get themselves into the Euros. So that's a bit fortuitous given the position that they ended. And we're just getting confirmation of the squads right now. It appears that Abusher will be playing in a much more advanced role, with Shaqiri playing on that left-hand side with Rodriguez supporting. So again, it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out for the rest of this evening. Both teams doing their various huddles now. Looking quite fired up, both teams in fairness. One thing that I will give credit to Scotland, that kit does look really good. I really do like their home kit. Good job by Adidas there. It looks really nice. If you're out there, let me know what kits have you been impressed by? What have you liked the look of? Do you own one? More importantly, do you own one of the Euro shirts? And we're just about to see kickoff with the Scots. Scots lining up here with 5 on the halfway line, and they boot it off to kick us off for this first half. Switzerland here with Ricardo Rodriguez, a guy that has had a fantastic season with Torino. In his last game, he scored a thunderbolt goal against Milan. Absolutely incredible in the home game. Kieran Tierney having to make a dive in there just to ensure that he didn't lose possession to Ndoye. And for some reason, that was given as a free kick. Bit surprised there. So Angus Gunn lines up to take the free kick. This is deep in the Scotland half, so he's going to boot it quite high up. Swiss defend quite well. Abusher there defending quite well. Some pressure there from Shaqiri as the ball goes back to a Gun. And there we've just had John McGinn forcing an error out of Fabian Schär. So you can see what the intent is from Scots, and already he's just gained a corner off Manuel Akanji. So already we're seeing a completely different Scotland approach to Friday, where they looks like reined in headlights kind of moments. So Scott McTominay here to take the corner for the Scots. Can he inspire them to something here? Corner taken, not good enough delivery. Bounces, and he's given it. The referee's given it as a throw-in to the Scots. Like I say, guys, if you want to get involved, get your questions in. I can see, looks like a majority of you on Twitter here tonight. So get your questions in. And if you could do me a favor, get on to YouTube, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. That would be really appreciated. Our goal is to just get to 500 subscribers. That's all we ask for. You don't have to even like our stuff. If you could just subscribe, that'd be really appreciated. And if you want maybe some specific content about Serie A or maybe Premier League content, then let us know as well. We'll try our best to do something there. Andrew Robertson, again, getting a corner for the Scots here. Scott McTominay lining up. He's waiting for the ball to be given to him. He needs to improve on that delivery that he did just moments ago. As we enter 3.5 minutes now. Let's see what the Scots can do here. In swinger, but Jan Sommer is smarter. He's grabbed it and he sets them on the way on the counter-attack with Granit Xhaka here. Threading a ball, delightful ball, but it's a bit too fast, unfortunately, for Ndoye there. So it goes into the feet of Angus Gunn for now. This is the element that I felt with the Swiss side that they were going to achieve here. That they were going to be quite good on their counters here. Matching up quite well against the Scots. Swiss doing really well in terms of recycling the ball so far as well. Keeping the majority of the possession in these early stages so far. Big ball there by Shah. However, Ndoye hasn't really controlled it, and it's kicks clear by Kieran Tierney there for the Scots. Vidmare is now taking in a throw-in. How many of you have put Switzerland as your dark horses? I'll be interested to get your comments in. Do you think they are dark horses, more importantly? And loose ball there by Grant Hanley. However, it's been well recovered in the middle by, I think that was McGregor. As we enter 5.5 minutes now. Scotland with a free kick. Boots it down, and what a waste there. What an absolute waste that was. I want to say that was Kieran Tierney there. They need to do better when they've got the ball. It's not like Scotland are blessed with having a lot of possession, but even from a set piece point of view, that was deep in the Scotland half. All he needed to do was pass it to one of his players rather than speculate. Angus Gunn is having to clear the ball as it's chased down by Ndoye, and that's a Swiss throw-in deep in the Scots half. This is how quick Switzerland are getting the ball up the other end, and I think this is the fear factor for the Scots, that they need to do better when they've got possession. They seem to be too quick at giving away possession, so they need to make sure they calm it down a bit, build some momentum when they get the ball. Swiss are really good technically as well, is the other thing that I've probably not alluded to. Some good technicians, the likes of Shedra Shaqiri. It's going to be important from a Swiss perspective. If you can get him on the ball, what can he do? He's proved it in previous Euros as well. This is the thing. He can turn it on. So they just need to be mindful of the Scots that whilst he might not be a spring chicken like he used to be, he's still got a performance in him on his day. Ricardo Rodriguez there. Just making a note there. Abasher and Vargas seem to be the ones that are intertwining at the moment on that left-hand side in particular. You've got Ricardo Rodriguez, who is marshalling that kind of defensive line alongside Manuel Akanji and Fabian Schär. So Ruben Vargas was the guy that identified pre-kickoff. Keep an eye on him, see what he can do, as well as Abasher as well. Abasher is going to be a fascinating one. And just minutes now ago, I can just see Aston Villa have agreed terms with Ian Maatsen from Chelsea. So looks like that deal is going to take place. Interesting given the context of it seems like only a few weeks ago there was rumours about Villa needing to balance the books. So I'm surprised that they've managed to get a deal for Maatsen done. It's going to be a fee of around 35 to 40 million has been reported, with some potential add-ons as well. His contract at Villa Park will be for 6 years as well. All I can say is Unai Emery seems to get some fantastic bit of business, doesn't he? Got that nice and early during the Euros as well. That's a signing that you can sense that they will push on. So does that mean that the likes of Lucas Digne potentially misses out here? As we speak, Shea Adams just gives away a free kick. Ricardo Rodriguez going in and getting a foot in the process. So Scotland cheaply losing possession there. We're entering the 10th minute now already. And the Swiss are pushing themselves. However, they haven't really carved out any opportunities as of yet. So this is the thing that the Swiss need to work on at this stage. But they're firmly in the Scots half. This is the thing. Jack Hendry here to take the throw in now. Guys, drop me a question. Drop me your thoughts as we go along. How do you think this game is going to play out? If you are on Instagram or Twitter, please get those comments in via the YouTube link. Unfortunately, this software is not pulling through those kind of content from other channels. So appreciate if you are joining us right now, get those questions in and your thoughts. Maybe any general questions. Doesn't have to be on the Euros. It can be absolutely anything. And we've just seen a poorly placed back pass there by Jack Hendry, which concedes a corner to the Swiss. He does the hard work, gets in front of Abusher, but then overhits his pass back to Angus Gunn. No way was Angus Gunn going to be able to control that, and that's really cheaply given by Jack Hendry. Puts a bit more pressure on the Scots now as we speak. Jeddah and Shaqiri lining up to take this corner. Does a short combination. Frella on the ball. Shaqiri floats it in, but it's cleared by the Scots. You can see they're now looking for the counter-attack. Andrew Robertson here gets it to Paul McGregor. They've got enough bodies in the box. And they've got a goal. Scott McTominay. I thought they'd lost momentum, but it's come off Fabian Schär. And that was the quick move that I didn't anticipate here, folks. I did not see this happening, but the Scots have got themselves a goal. Against the run of play, it has to be said. But Scotland lead. But yeah, courtesy of Scott McTominay. Just watching the replays now. Fantastic counter-attacking move here. Billy Gilmore doing so well. Feeding the ball into Andrew Robertson, who has Paul McGregor supporting on the left-hand side, who he manages to hold off the ball, place it in the pathway of Scott McTominay. And Fabian Schär sticks out his leg in front of Jan Sommer, who looks like he was about to control and maybe just grab hold of the ball. But Fabian Schär, with his foot, putting it in the direction of the goal. And that gives Scotland the much-needed lead in this match. Now, Scotland have to build on this. This is really big from a Scotland perspective. Does now mean that the game will start opening up with the Swiss having to come out. And now Scotland have just won themselves a throw-in in their half. Wow. Didn't anticipate that, folks. What were your predictions for this match? I can see there's a few more joining us right now. So get your thoughts, questions as we go along. Doesn't have to be Euros based. It could be any football questions that you've got. Let me know via the YouTube stream if you can. That would be a great favor for me. So we can discuss anything that's on your mind. What's been your favorite game so far of the tournament? If not, we've obviously got the Copa America as well. So that'll be fascinating. Let me know if you're going to be following that. We've got the Swiss now on the counter-attack. Ndoye chasing Kieran Tierney. Curentini looking for a foul there, but the referee's not interested. And the Swiss are going to do a corner. Referee's going to have a word with Angus Gunn for his gamesmanship, shall we say. Nothing in it. Just watching replay now, and Ndoye kind of catches the back of Curentini's boot, but Curentini was already falling before that stage. Corner taken by Shaqiri, which is cleared by the Scots. On the rebound, Ricardo Rodriguez cannot get his shot on target. It goes wide, and Angus Gunn will be relieved. He'll be able to take a goal kick as a result. Scotland won here, folks. Switzerland 0. Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought that? Ndoye now getting a loose ball. However, Curentini does superbly well. Manages to keep hold of the ball. It is absolutely fascinating for me, actually, seeing Curentini kind of play in this flat back three and wonder whether Arteta might rethink his strategy with Curentini. Does he see him as potentially being someone that could fit into the Arsenal system? Let me know what your thoughts are, but certainly from that point of view. And Mon Sportif, no Scotland, no party. Charles, I'm assuming it's you, but yes, this has been fascinating. I did not anticipate Scotland to take such an early lead given the start of this particular match. It seems like it was, although the Swiss didn't have any kind of necessarily, say, clear-cut chances, they certainly dominated the early stages from a possession point of view, and they've had a few corners already. So Scotland have done superbly. It's that counter-attack that led them to that goal. So fantastic goal from a Scots perspective. But they need to do better in possession. That's the one kind of thought that I've seen so far. As we speak now, from the resulting corner, it seems like Shah has clashed with, I want to say it is maybe John McGinn. Just seeing on the replay. No, it's Grant Hanley by the look of things. Oh, no, it's Ralston. Ralston even. So there's a pause in play. We've approached the 18th minute mark here. Scotland will be pleased. Scotland will be very happy with the progress that they've done so far. As I allude to, I think they just need to work on what they do when they've got possession. Slow it down sometimes. They are too eager to kind of do the quick attacks. I think sometimes in tournament games, you just need to remember that you've got time. Even if your opponents are so keen to get that pressure as quickly as possible. And just replay of the goal from Scott McTominay there. Bit fortuitous in the fact that Paul McGregor manages to kind of stumble initially before he controls it. And then he got the Fabian Schär kind of kick out as well, which gives Scotland the much needed lead here. But the Swiss have got that adaptability. They've got the options off the bench as well, which is going to be critical. Can they do something here? Looks like Fabian Schär has just hurt himself in the process. Bleeding nose. So, yeah, due to protocol, he'll have to come off initially. We'll restart this match. So, I'm assuming it'll be a drop ball potentially here. Both Ralston and Fabian Schär coming off here before the referee allows them to be waved back on. Swiss will have the possession here as they start now. So this is important from a Swiss perspective. Can they make the most of the ball, get it very quickly into the Scotland half, which they have got the ball in the half as we speak now. It's now about getting it into the box. That's my only argument here is Ndoye is not necessarily your target man style player. So this surprised me about the omission of Mbolo. I think Mbolo would have been quite a handful for the Scots. And I suspect Murat Yakin will be thinking if he needs to shake it up in the second half. But certainly I think he needs to maybe think about putting 2 up top at this stage if he wants to get something out of this game. Enter the 21st minute here now of the game in Cologne. Switzerland initially looking like they were going to control this match. They've just built up some good momentum down that right-hand side, but it's superbly dealt by Andrew Robertson, who concedes a corner there. Another corner for the Swiss. That must be their 5th now. Swiss really could do with a reliable ball into the box here. Shaqiri again lining up to take this. Takes it now. Well defended by Grant Hanley there. On the rebound, the Swiss have put it back into the box, but they've managed to keep hold of the possession, even though the Scots initially tried to clear that ball. Ricardo Rodriguez getting the ball out wide. The Swiss retaining possession. Scotland through Scott McTominay now managing to play themselves out of that position. And they've got it firmly back at the halfway line now through Andrew Robertson. Andrew Robertson again taking on his man, but unfortunately Manuel Akanji comes across and sweeps the ball back to Jan Sommer, who now recycles it to Ricardo Rodriguez. He boots it up. But again, this is the problem for the Swiss. They haven't got the natural target man. Billy Gilmore losing the ball here. And the ball is firmly on that right-hand side for the Swiss. They're keeping possession quite well here. Switzerland doing okay in possession here, but they're not necessarily forcing the issue. Scotland again. A through ball there by Xhaka is cleared away by Grant Hanley, and it goes out for a throw-in now. It's all onside as well. Just showing on the replay, although I think it's been given as offside there. So Angus Gunn is going to restart play with a free kick from a Scotland perspective, deep in the Scotland half. Looks like there could be a stop in play now. Clash of heads as the ball went up. Scott McTominay feeling the back of his head now. Fabian Schär coming in for that as well. It was just the ball itself that actually ricocheted off his back of his head. So I don't know why Scott McTominay is claiming anything more than that. I'm sure that's just gamesmanship here being utilised to slow down the Swiss. But they restart now. Get your questions in, guys. If you've got any general football questions that you want to talk about, any Euros related stuff, maybe what's your thoughts of the games earlier today? And if you happen to be joining us from Twitter or Instagram, do me a favor, go on to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, give us a like to this stream. That would be really appreciated. Stats just being floated now, 72% for the Swiss, only 28% for the Scots. But that means very little. However, the ball's been cheaply lost by the Scots, and that is a goal. We have an equaliser for the Swiss. Jedran Shaqiri equalising there. What a hit. More importantly, really badly done by the Scots there. They cheaply lost possession there. I need to have a look at the replay there just to see who lost that ball. I'm going to say it was Ralston, but I'm not 100% sure. So it was lost there by, yeah, it was Ralston. Combination of play between Grant Hanley and, at the time, Billy Gilmore. Gilmore gives it to Ralston. Ralston, without even looking, passes it back. Now, is there going to be anything brought up potentially? No. I thought for a minute potentially there could have been an offside call being called, but the circumstances, what a hit by Shaqiri. I did mention this though earlier. I said he might not be as fast as he used to be, but the technical feat of this guy and the goals given, we have got it. It's a draw as it is. Switzerland have got themselves back into the match. 1-1. Great goal by Shaqiri there. Puts the Swiss back on level pegging. And the Scots will have to restart again. They will have to go about it in a better manner. Unfortunately, I did fear this for the Scots. That whilst they could get themselves into a position of winning this game, they are still lacking in terms of what they do with the ball. That is the issue. Ralston was another individual that had a poor game against the Germans as well. And unfortunately, he's been found out here as well. He's going to be targeted for the rest of this match now after that pole pass back. So let's see how he recovers from that particular incident now. Because that is going to be the area that they pose the questions from a Swiss perspective. Abasher here with Ricardo Rodriguez on the overlap here. Getting the cross in. It lands and it is being blasted over by Widmer. Should have done better. He had so much time. He should have done better with that, even if it was just to keep hold of possession or get the ball into the box. He went for the glory and lucky escape for the Scots there. Kieran Tierney telling Angus Gunn to calm it down. Don't rush it. And Angus Gunn is going to take a goal kick and blast it up the pitch. Almost approaching the half an hour mark here in the game. 1-1. Scotland getting a somewhat fortuitous goal with Fabian Schär scoring an own goal. What I would say is the Scots did superbly from a counter-attack perspective to get themselves into that position where Paul McGregor pulls the ball back to Scott McTominay. He pulls the trigger and Fabian Schär sticks his leg out to put it in the direction of the net past Jan Sommer. But Switzerland superbly reacted, keeping the momentum tight on the Scots. And then a poor no-look pass back by Ralston feeds the ball into Shaqiri's path, who just without an ounce of hesitation pulls the trigger past Angus Scott. And we've got Rodriguez just not able to get the ball to another Swiss player. It hits the backside of a Scots defender. I think I want to say it was Grant Hanley. And the ball is recovered by the Scots. They're now slowing down the tempo. They're passing it around. Kieran Tierney now on the ball, passing it into the middle of the park with the likes of Grant Hanley. Billy Gilmore, and now Paul McGregor. We're at 30 minutes now. 15 minutes to go. Plus, at this stage, I'd say call it about 2 minutes of injury time. Let's see. What can the Scots do? I've not seen much of Shea Adams, it's been fair to say. As we speak, just getting his first touch in the game. Sets up Billy Gilmore, and Ricardo Rodriguez dives in. Gets a yellow card for his efforts as well. They're just showing the replay now. Didn't get any of the ball, unfortunately, so yellow card given to Ricardo Rodriguez, so he'll have to be careful now. Jack Hendry to take this free kick. Hopefully he won't be as wasteful as he has been in possession so far. Scotland desperately need to think about what they're going to do in these kind of positions. On Friday night, they didn't really make the most of these kind of positions where they had a free kick. And again, it's aimed aimlessly. No one there to really keep hold of the ball. And the Swiss are just really good from a point of view. Very quick. They're at the other end now. Abusher feeds it to Ndoye. Ndoye's got a fantastic opportunity. And what a save by Angus Gunn. That was a great move by the Swiss. Angus Gunn having to pull out the stops there to keep the Scots into the match. In fairness, there was a defender online. It was Andrew Robertson. So potentially he might have got himself in front of it. But what a save by Angus Gunn. Scots again being carved very easily here. Shedder and Shaqiri here to take the resultant corner. Let's see what he can do. Ball is cleared by the Scots, but the ball comes back in from Manuel Akanji. And Ndoye comes in and he scored. It's 2-1 to the Swiss, but goal looks like it is going to be potentially ruled out for offside here. He's waiting for VAR to intervene here. So let's have a look from the replays here. So the ball initially goes out. At this stage, it is very tight. I'm not too sure how this is going to play out in terms of those lines. Now, players are walking away. They're waiting for the referee to make a call here. It's being given as offside. Check over. So the Scots get away with that. That was very tight. Ndoye was smart there, anticipated it quicker. If anything, Angus Gunn rushes out of his goal and flaps around. That is the worry. Scots put in pressure here, but I think that was Billy Gilmore going down too easily, and the referees just waved him to come back up, saying he's not giving it. Yeah, it was Billy Gilmore. Let's have a look at the replay. Yeah, he goes down far too easily, tries to kind of initiate, and he says that he's been pulled back, but I didn't see it that way, I'm afraid. Billy Gilmore. Ball recycled by Angus Gunn and goes out for Swiss throw-in. So Wimmer to take the throw-in here for the Swiss. Boots it up. Xhaka clears the ball, and Angus Gunn recycles it to Jack Hendry. 34 minutes on the clock now. Fastly approaching 35. Remember, guys, if you're joining me on Twitter or Instagram, get your thoughts on the YouTube stream. Unfortunately, we're not able to pull through your comments or feedback from those various different channels. So, yeah, if there's anything football related that you want to discuss, any questions about the Euros, what's your thoughts on the previous games as well, let me know in the YouTube stream. Be delighted to have you to answer some of your questions, maybe go through some bits whilst we're watching this game as well. And if you could do me a favor, if you're not already a subscriber of our channel on YouTube, that'd be really appreciated. We're desperate and keen to get to the 500 subscriber mark. We've been growing recently to 293. May seem really small in comparison to your other likes of influencers and football channels, but we'd be keen to get as many of you subscribing to us. And if anything, if there seems to be any content that you want us to do regarding Serie A or maybe Premier League, let us know. Maybe we can cover it for you. In the meantime, Scots holding on to possession better here. Moving it around, still on the halfway line, in fairness, but there's really poor by Paul McGregor. He gets away with that in my eyes. He lost that to Ndoye getting fouled in the process. I think Paul McGregor got lucky there. Ricardo Rodriguez here battling out with Shea Adams, but Shea Adams gets hold of the ball. Scott McTominay steps on the ball, but the referee has given it as a foul against Shea Adams. So free kick awarded to the Scots, approaching the 37th minute here. Ricardo Rodriguez really has to be careful here. He's already received the yellow card earlier. Just having a replay of this. It wasn't actually given against Rodriguez. It was actually given against Fuller, his midfield counterpart. Who again has had a very good season at Bologna. Scott McTominay here lining up for the free kick. I think he's going to float it in. John McGinn doing his usual antics, trying to distract Jan Sommer. We've got, it appears, I think it's Grant Hanley in an offside position as this free kick takes off. Ball pinged into the box, headed by Jack Hendry. However, free kick's being given. Jan Sommer to restart the action. "38 minutes here, guys. And Scots have managed to regain the possession in the Swiss half. Sloppy pass there leads to Paul McGregor recycling the ball deep in the Swiss half here, but through ball by Billy Gilmore gets intercepted. Very cheap ball, I have to say, from Billy Gilmore. And the Swiss regain possession. Granit Xhaka there. And the ball is cheaply given away for a Scots throw-in. Take your time, lads. Andrew Robertson rocking up the wing, doing a quick throw-in. Ball being hit backwards again from a Scotland perspective, which not as keen on. They need to keep the pressure. I appreciate they want to keep possession. Shea Adams does superbly well on the right-hand side, but Ralston's ball is horrendous there. But Andrew Robertson managed to keep it in the left-hand side. Ball again going to the back line of the Scotland defence. Paul McGregor now on the ball. Scott McTominay being used as the outlet here. Grant Hanley, Hendry, Ralston. Ralston plays it back. Now it's back in the Scotland half with Jack Hendry having to cover himself there, but it's passed back to Angus Gunn and we start off again in the Scotland half. 40th minute mark now, guys. 5 minutes to go of normal time plus injury time, which I anticipate to be at least a minimum of 2. Bull and Andrew Robertson doing superbly well with this run down the left-hand side. Manuel Akanji having to step across, and that is a corner to the Scots. Few times there that Andrew Robertson has done superbly in terms of just getting down that left-hand side, just running, causing himself a bit of a nuisance and a threat, more importantly, for the Scots. I think we need to see a lot more of Shea Adams doing that, personally. He's done okay so far in this match, but you need more willing runners here. Scott McTominay from the corner gets it into the path of Shea Adams, and it's superbly saved by Jan Sommer. I think Shea Adams is trying to see if there's another corner to be gained here, but it's been waved away. Ball recycled by the Swiss, and they're now counter-attacking the Scots. Scots retreating as quickly as they can right now as we speak. Wimmer with the ball into the box, but it misses Ndoye. Ralston having to recover here. Ball goes as far as Shea Adams. He falls over stupidly, and referees waves carry on. Shedder and Shaqiri here on the edge of the area now. Passes it to Ndoye, who now looks to take on Ralston down the wing. Ndoye lines it up to Granit Xhaka, and it's a great save there. It's a curling effort by Xhaka, but it's comfortable save by Angus Gunn. And in the box, I think there's a audacious overhead kick, maybe attempted by Ruben Vargas there. Ndoye intercepted there by Billy Gilmore as well on the wing. Ball recycled by the Swiss again. Ricardo Rodriguez. Abasher. Back to Xhaka. Ndoye. Ndoye now seemingly taking on that left-hand side position. This is where he's much more aggressive and much more of a threat. This is what he does for Bologna. He goes down those wings. Ball is recycled. We've got Abish as a Vargas, and he's marked as being offside there. Ran far too quickly by the look of things. Yeah, he was offside, unfortunately. Vargas. But Dan Ndoye, the man that, to be fair, so just showing an earlier offside that Dan Ndoye was marked offside. I don't know why these lines weren't shown at the time, but he got in front of Angus Gunn, anticipated the ball really well, and that could have been 2-1 to the Swiss then. Ndoye turning his marker there in Paul McGregor, and he just almost feel like Grant Hanley stepping across was enough to disrupt the rhythm there of Ndoye. Ndoye looks like he was going to have the pacing of Hanley there, but the Scots do well. They managed to disrupt his rhythm. Otherwise, I think that could be a one-on-one situation with Angus Gunn there. But we're closely approaching the 44th minute mark. Scotland calmly holding on to possession now. That was Kieran Tierney holding on to possession, moving it around along the back line. Now to Billy Gilmore, Hanley, Jack Hendry, back to Angus Gunn now. We're entering the last minute now, boys and girls, if you are joining us. Don't forget, please, if you happen to be on Twitter, X, or if you happen to be on Instagram, getting your thoughts or questions, please join us on the YouTube channel instead, because we cannot pull through any of your questions or thoughts. Let us talk about any general football that you have on your mind. It's been confirmed during the match, Ian Maatsen will be joining Aston Villa from Chelsea for a fee of around 35 to 40 million plus add-ons. Ian Maatsen set to agree a 6-year contract with Aston Villa. Another bit of fantastic business by Unai Emery and Aston Villa there as well. The ball hit by Angus Gunn even, sorry. And unfortunately, Switzerland have possession. There's 3 minutes of added time being added here. Ricardo Rodriguez hitting the ball far up with Ruben Vargas battling with Jack Hendry, but he gives away a free kick. And Jack Hendry will pick himself up to take the resultant free kick here. I think if you're a Swiss persuasion, you'd probably be the happier given the circumstances. Scotland got themselves into a favourable lead, somewhat fortuitous, somewhat, I'd say, through determination more than skill. But they were immediately pegged back after a stupid decision by Ralston gave Jedran Shaqiri an opportunity, and one that he took superbly. Curled his effort into the roof of Angus Gunn's net and equalising for the Swiss. However, they will be lucky in the sense that Ndoye, who got what thought and what looked to be a second for the Swiss, was ruled out for offside. He anticipated a corner routine a bit quicker than Angus Gunn, beat him, put it into the net, but it was adjudged that Ndoye was in an offside position. Free kick quickly taken for a foul on Billy Gilmore, and between Tierney and Andrew Robertson, just recycling the ball, slowing down the tempo here. And that's what Scotland have got to do here. Just see it out until half time now. Got 2 more minutes to play of added time. And this is a minimum, remember, guys, minimum of 2 more minutes. Ball back to Swiss. Jan Sommer shanks his clearance, and it goes out for a Scotland throw-in. Ralston here taking the resultant throw-in, but it's recycled along the back line of Scotland as they look to slow down the tempo here. They're not in any rush, and unfortunately, I think that's Grant Hanley pings the ball deep into the Swiss half, and it's a Swiss throw-in. Slowly approaching half-time to be called by the ref. Ricardo Rodriguez here, a man that's already received the yellow card. He has to watch himself in the second half. And there we have it. Half-time, everyone. Scotland doing superbly to get into a winning position, courtesy of Scott McTominay. A quick counter-attack move started off by Billy Gilmore from a corner from the Swiss, doing superbly well to feed the likes of Andrew Robertson, who then plays it into Paul McGregor. Paul McGregor stumbling somewhat, but that was enough to kind of compose himself, pass it in the direction of Scott McTominay, whose shot was then flicked into the net, courtesy of Fabian Schär past Jan Sommer. The Swiss responded, however, superbly, applying some pressure, and they duly got an equaliser through Jedran Shaqiri. A poor back pass by Ralston gave the initiative to Shaqiri, and Shaqiri, without any hesitation, blasting his effort into the roof of Angus Gunn's net. And there you have it. We are 1-1 at half time. So many thanks to everyone that's so far joined us for this live stream so far. Watch along. I am going to take a short break and I will join you back for the second half. So get your questions, as I say. Make sure you get all your thoughts via our YouTube channel. And if you could do us a favor, what would be really appreciated is go onto the YouTube channel and subscribe to it as well. We want to get to 500 subscribers. So a like to this would also go down really well with ourselves. So thank you for watching right now. But anyway, I'm going to leave you. Go and get yourself a tea or a drink or whatever you want to. Have a break, and I'll see you for the second half. See you later, guys. Hello, guys. Good to see so many of you joining us on the live stream as we do this watch along for the second half of Scotland versus Switzerland. And as I alluded to, Scotland's somewhat fortuitous in gaining the lead, somewhat skill, I suppose, and through determination more than anything else, as they got the first goal through Fabian Schär. But Switzerland superbly bring themselves back into this match, courtesy of Shedra and Shaqiri. A poor pass back by Ralston gave the initiative to him, and he superbly got his effort into the roof of Angus Gunn's net. So just waiting for Switzerland to kick off here for the second half, and there we go. Second half has kicked off. So do me a favor, if you are on Instagram and on Twitter, or X as it calls themselves these days, and you want to get involved, get your questions, anything general footballing wise. We've seen the news of Ian Maatsen confirming a potential move from Chelsea to Aston Villa for a fee rumoured to be around £40 million plus add-ons, and he's going to sign a 6-year contract as well. So yeah, let us know what your thoughts are about that bit of business, if anything. But otherwise, we also have the Euros, some fantastic matches earlier today. In particular, Albania getting a point against Croatia. Croatia looking in trouble, potentially. Could we be saying goodbye to them? It does look inevitable that also Hungary could potentially be waving goodbye after they were defeated by Germany 2-0. As we speak here, Switzerland just had a corner and have gained another one subsequently after Scotland initially cleared it, but the ball hit the back of Paul McGregor to give Switzerland another corner here. They'll be desperate to take the lead, but unlucky not to have taken the lead through Dan and Doy, who superbly anticipated a corner routine. We have got a third corner now for the Swiss. At least I think it is. Jack Hendry there. Has that been given for offside? Yes, offside. Jack Hendry here having a bit of a hard first half, it's fair to say. His passes going wayward at times, causing Scotland to retreat at times through a series of corners, but he's got himself back into the rhythm of things as well. So keen to see how he progresses, because he was hotly tipped when he was in Belgium before he got his move to Saudi. And subsequently, he's been in the Saudi leagues for the past season. Believe it or not, there is actually 13 players representative at this tournament that currently ply their trade in the Saudi League. Over the last few nights, we have seen those players play for their respective nations, the likes of Ronaldo, N'Golo Kante as well. N'Golo Kante still looks like a superb player, despite the fact that he's been playing majority of this season in the Saudi League. But my overriding thought is Scotland need to do better when they've got the possession. And ironically, they've just won themselves a free kick, courtesy of John McGinn being pulled down by Fabian Schär there. Did superbly well, at shielding the ball from Fabian Schär. And it was clear as day. Can't believe the ref took so long to award a free kick there. So it looks like Andrew Robertson set to take this free kick. It's about 45 yards out. Looks like he's going to whip it into the box, which he does. It's a bit too low, however. He manages to recycle the ball, and it goes all the way back to Angus Gunn, which has been a common theme in the first half of Scotland. They need to do better at set pieces. I just can't believe that they've been so poor at them. Scotland looking for what appears to be a nothing challenge by Frella on Robertson. Looks like he was trying to look for a penalty there, potentially, or free kick. on the edge of the area. No way was that a free kick, though. We've got a throw-in taken by Kieran Tierney here. Cleared up by Manuel Akanji. Grant Hanley trying to get the ball back into the box. Has been flicked in by Andrew Robertson. Manuel Akanji getting his head, injuring himself in the process. I think he landed awkwardly on his back there. Maybe his hip. And the referee now calls time. And pulls it back by the look of things. Let's see what happened here. So, yeah, he's just landed really awkwardly on his hip there after a nudge from John McGinn. He's picked himself up though, and Scott McTominay has just talked himself into the book now, also getting a yellow card. So that's the second yellow card of the evening. The first going to Ricardo Rodriguez of Switzerland. And Scott McTominay will just have to calm himself down a bit. Drop ball in favour of the Scots. Andrew Robertson is going to restart the game now. Grant Hanley with a punt up the field. However, it goes out for a goal kick, and Jan Sommer ready to restart for the Swiss. So as I mentioned, make sure you join us on the YouTube channel. Get your thoughts, get your questions in as we go along. Any questions, let's have them on board. Let's discuss your thoughts on the tournament so far. Second group games starting today. Blessed to some good action so far. Albania doing really well to get a point. Germany, first team qualifying out of this group stage. Superb performance by the Germans. They can now relax in their last game. And it'll be fascinating to see how they kind of approach it against the Swiss, potentially. Andrew Robertson here. Gains himself a throw-in after hitting against Wimmer. Scotland bringing the tempo back into the half, but they have to be careful here. That's Jack Hendry there, almost losing the ball to Jedran Shaqiri there in his own half, and subsequently Shaqiri does good work there. He earns the Swiss a throw-in. I think Murat Yakin, the coach for Switzerland, is going to potentially look at his options in the next 10. Potentially, you might look at putting two up top. And my thoughts naturally would be to get Mbolo onto the pitch, or Mbolo, should I say, and maybe sacrifice Vargas, because I don't think we've seen the best of Vargas this evening so far. I haven't really seen too much runs from him. I kind of tipped him as the player to look out for today, but really hasn't done too much. Guys, let me know. What do you think? Do you think Scotland can hold out, get a point here? From a Scotland perspective, I think they really do need to maybe shift to a two up top. Shea Adams, for all his effort, unfortunately, he's not had much to work with. He needs someone alongside him. Something for the Scots to actually aim at as well. Because unfortunately, when they come to those counter-attacking positions, they've got no one really up there. I know right now they've got the likes of Shea Adams running into positions, but he's just running. He's not doing anything at the moment. Even when they've had the opportunities, he's not being someone that I can naturally say is ready to take on something in those positions. Scotland recycling the ball. Angus Gunn hoofing it back up to the midway part of the pitch, and the Swiss have managed to rescue the ball and now keeping possession. And this is the problem, realistically. This is the issue that the Scots will face for the rest of this evening, is if they continue the way they're playing, they're just going to hand initiative to the Swiss. Ricardo Rodriguez, Xhaka, getting the ball through to Ndoye, and the ball's running out, and it's conceded for a corner. Let's see what the Swiss can do from the resulting corner here. Wouldn't say the corners have been superb, but they've at least tried to aim it towards their target men, should we say here. Ruben Vargas here. Shaqiri. And the ball's cleared out by the Scots. Granit Xhaka. Rodriguez. Shaqiri. Back to Xhaka now. Swiss keeping hold of the ball here very well. And there's a good through ball to Xhaka, who now feeds it into Wimmer on that right-hand side. He crosses into the box, goes past everyone, but Vargas now takes a shot, and Angus Gunn is equal to the efforts of Vargas there. Bit of a threat from the Swiss, but I still think they need more of a focal point up top. We saw how lethal Ndoye can be when he's coming in off those wings, and that's where he's been playing really well for Bologna this season. I don't see him naturally as the target man, which he's been deployed for the majority of this match against the Scots. Yes, he's got pace and he can run at them, but if you have someone like Mbolo, who I think had a superb 2020 campaign, then I foresee him potentially being someone that could really do some damage here. Scots have got possession now. Kieran Tierney, another one that I've been actually quite surprised how well he's adapted in that back three. Maybe giving Mikel Arteta something to think about potentially if he gets the opportunity to carry on his career at Arsenal. I know he's been largely plagued by injuries for Arsenal, but on the way he's playing for Scotland, I see no reason why he wouldn't stand a chance. I think if he doesn't get an opportunity, then I could see a lot of Premier League sides being interested in his services, especially with his adaptability at left back as well. And he proved it for Celtic and his recent loan spell at Real Sociedad as well. Unfortunately, got injured towards the end, if I remember rightly. So, yeah, good to see him recovered and back in action. But the Swiss have got possession here. They get the ball to Ndoye, who's turned Hanley. And he somehow managed to miss. He's got it on the other side of Angus Gunn's goal. That's very fortuitous. However, in the process, I think it is, Kieran Tierney is just gone down, feeling his hamstring. Not a great sign for the Scots if that is the case. If that is his hamstring, the way he clutched at that looks like potentially, he's calling for a sub. He can't carry on. He's gone. And what do we say, folks? Mbolo is about to come on. And surprisingly, Shaqiri's coming off. A bit of a surprise there. Shaqiri, the man that got the equaliser for the Swiss, superbly taking his effort there. Just showing replays of the goal now. What a goal it was as well. But he makes way for Mbolo. And that gives them the presence up top. Not only that, but also something for them to work around, especially with the way the Scots have played. And given the fact that Kieran Tierney now has to come off, you can see he's in pain. He's going to be stretchered off at the moment now. So the Scots will have to make a change. I expect it to be Scott McKenna even, sorry. Yeah, he just felt it awkwardly, unfortunately. They're just showing replays of Kieran Tierney. What a shame. Just moments ago, I was talking about how he'd be potentially a great player for someone. And now injury looks to be the case for him. So yeah, it looks inevitable that it is. I think it is Scott McKenna who's going to come on for the Scots in place. I'm just double checking that is the case. Is it Scott McKenna? Yeah, McKenna coming on for Kieran Tierney here. A guy that had a loan spell at FC Copenhagen for the second half of this season. Never really got his opportunity to prove his worth at Nottingham Forest. He's still technically contracted to them right now, and I expect him to earn a move in the summer because I don't think Nottingham Forest have any expectation for him to be in their squad for next season in the Premier League. So, yeah, let's see what he can do. Can he earn himself a move as a result of this tournament? Ralston taking a quick throw-in for the Scots here. And it is a throw-in to the Swiss now. Guys, remember, if you have any thoughts and you happen to be on Instagram or Twitter, please join us on the YouTube channel. Get your thoughts there. Unfortunately, we can't pull through your comments at the moment through to this software, so I'm unable to see if you are writing any messages there. So please let me know if there's any general football questions maybe you want to discuss. As I mentioned, some good games today, but how about generally the tournament? How have you felt the tournament's played out as you expected? Any shocks for you? Any surprises? I don't think there has been too many surprises. Maybe the likes of Romania getting a great result against Ukraine. That was a bit of a surprise. More the manner potentially of the result more than anything. Denmark, maybe disappointing. They've got a big game against England tomorrow. How is the optimism levels with tomorrow's match? Just read that it looks like Southgate is going to stick with potentially the same team that played against Serbia, with Foden and Trent Alexander deployed. What do we think? Jenny, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think obviously the players are just doing what Gareth Southgate's asked them to do. I almost feel with Trent, actually, the way that he's deployed could work when he's brought on as opposed to starting. Because you think about how players tire out very quickly. His kind of directness through his passing could be just what England need in those kind of games. Someone that can ping it to someone that can chase onto it, stretch defenders. You know, David Beckham used to be synonymous for that. Anyway, Switzerland on the attack here through Vargas. Vargas, unluckily, aims for the top corner. It somewhat rises past Angus Gunn's goal. But the warning signs are there for the Scots. They're starting to open up a bit more in that midfield area. This was always the concern for the Scots. They did superbly well in the first half, it has to be said, but I think a bit like the Czechs yesterday, stamina levels are going to be critical here. Approaching the 65th minute mark here now anyway. Let's see. where this game plays out. Scotland get in possession here through Billy Gilmore. Has a shot which comes off Manuel Akanji. And it's a throw in for the Scots. Ralston from the resultant throw in loses possession, however, gains a throw in again. We've just now got ourselves a free kick on the edge of the area. Scott McTominay being brought down in the process by a foul from Manuel Akanji. This could be something that the Scots could make the most of here. Now, the problem has been for the majority of first two games so far, Scotland have been absolutely horrendous when it comes to set plays. They've been absolutely dreadful. They don't make the most of it. I don't think they're going to do much here somehow. But let's see. Let's see what they can do. Andrew Robertson here. Will he float it or will he have a go at Jan Sommer? Let's see. "66 minutes here, guys. Andrew Robertson with the free kick. Floated in, and it comes off the post. It's scrambled around, and somehow it's out for a throw in to the Swiss. Grant Hanley looks at the sky. Looks like potentially maybe he's managed to touch on this. Let's have a look from the replay. And it was Grant Hanley. Grant Hanley making himself a nuisance. And it comes off the post. Jan Sommer could not do anything there. If that goes in. First time I've actually seen Scotland do something decent with a set play. I'll be disappointed there because that was the opportunity. Let's see what the Swiss do here. Switzerland recycling the ball, goes back to Jan Sommer, who kicks it up. But the Swiss have quickly recovered, got the ball, and referee blows up for a foul on Mbolo. And he gets out his yellow card. The referee, yellow card looks like that's been given to McKenna. McKenna was clear as day, holding him back. Mbolo is going to be that nuisance for the Scots. They've got to be clever here, the Swiss. Scotland's just maintaining that defensive line for the time being. You just need to play it around for the time being. Someone a bit more like Ndoye needs to go down that side. But fantastically, it's been tackled by Ralston. And it is a throw-in to the Swiss. Just waiting here because the player that subsequently got tackled by Ralston, I cannot see who it is. Vargas? Yes, Vargas. Going down, but he's back up on his feet. And Mbolo here. Playing it around now. They're doing their triangles. And Mbolo running down the wing with Hendry almost running it out of play. But the ball is reclaimed by Billy Gilmore, and then subsequently John McGinn gives away the ball there. John McGinn winning the ball quite quickly there. Andrew Robertson in a more advanced role, passing it to Gilmore. Gilmore to Ralston here now. Ralston manages to win a corner to the Scots. Superb work from the Scots. This is what we needed to see a little bit more from the Scotland team. Pushing up the field, being more kind of aggressive with the attacking nature. Doing superbly well at this moment in time. Putting a bit more pressure on the Swiss. The Swiss actually probably could do with a change in midfield at the moment. They seem lethargic at the moment. I feel like maybe a fresh introduction of legs could be beneficial. Poor corner there by Andrew Robertson. Ralston tries to get the ball back into the area, and it's a throw in to the Swiss. Ralston does well to keep the ball at that end of the pitch. Guys, I can see there's a number of you joining us on Twitter. Get involved, get your questions, get your thoughts, anything football related. It doesn't have to be about the Euros. Join us with your questions. Get on the YouTube channel stream. Enter it there. Let's have a discussion. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, it would be really appreciated. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We're currently on 293. It would do us a lot of favors if you could do us that. We really appreciate that. Also, a like to this watch along would be something that would go a long way in helping us achieve what we're trying to achieve here as a channel. So maybe it's an idea that you've got. Maybe it's topics that you want us to cover on Serie A as well as the Premier League. We can cover both. As I watch a replay of John McGinn getting a yellow card in the process for fouling. John McGinn there. He's an interesting character, to say the least. He has had a fantastic season with Aston Villa. In the Scotland shirt, however, he seems to play up to being a bit more of a brute. It's fair to say. Scott McKenna here. And you can see scenes of the Scottish fans enjoying themselves right now. Just reached the 72nd minute mark here. Scotland got 18 minutes to go. What does Steve Clarke do? What would you do if you were Scotland? I mean, right now, this is a favourable result, right? They then go into the last group match against Hungary as it stands, knowing that a win could place them into third place. That would do them the world of good. Looks like for the Swiss, we've got Reda being lined up to come on. Reda from Rennes even, sorry. Not Reims. Left-sided player, but can play as a number 10. Let's see what he can do. But as we speak, foul given against John McGinn. And free kick to be floated in by Andrew Robertson there. Let's see what he can do. Quick ball now. Superbly leaped by Scott McKenna, but unable to keep it down. His effort, unfortunately. We're not just going to have one substitute from the Swiss, but two here. Just going to double check numbers here. So it looks like Vincent Serra from Toulouse is also set to come on here. Serra being a centre midfielder. Currently this season scoring 7 goals, 6 assists for Toulouse. So it'll be interesting to see, can he bring that form into this game? Number 8, Fuller, is one of the men due to come off here. We can see that so far. And Vargas, yeah. Inevitably, unfortunately, he's disappointed this evening. So there you go, confirmation. Thriller and Vargas come off for Reader. And it was for number 16, wasn't it? Sarah. Let's see what they can do. We are entering the 75th minute mark. 15 to go. And Scotland still applying the pressure here. And they earned themselves a corner. Fantastic work by Scott McKenna there. Doing the overlapping run on that left-hand side. Doing superbly well. Fair play to him. He's not naturally that kind of type of player, but he's done really well in that circumstance. Corner to be floated in here by Scott McTominay. Goes to back post. The Swiss scramble round, and it's enough for now. It's player down at the moment. Billy Gilmour is, but he's been told to pick himself up. Eventually does. Just a slight clash of heads with Wimmer, but nothing in it. Again, Billy Gilmour making out that there's more than there actually is there. Switzerland's doing quite well up until that point, and Buller being brought down and free kick awarded by the referee there. Switzerland's kick us off again. Quick free kick. Jan Sommer on the ball now to Manuel Kanji. Back to Jan Sommer. Just showing the stats now. A lot more possession for the Scots. 48%, 52% for the Swiss. A lot better from the Scots in this latter part of the second half. They've pushed themselves into this position a lot more, getting themselves into the attacking half, offering a lot more in terms of those threats. Maybe not necessarily make the most of it, but they are certainly getting more of the share of the possession. And here we go, Ndoye. But unfortunately, as a result from his shot, it's a raising shot that goes over Angus Gunn's skull. Ndoye could have just teed up one of his teammates there. Should have done that. More importantly, he should have done that. Just on the replay, smacks one of the Swiss supporters slap bang in the face. Not anticipating that. 78 minutes here, guys. Last 12 plus any injury time. Like I say, if you have any questions, any football related topics that you want to discuss, doesn't have to be Euros based. Get your questions into the YouTube channel. Can't see those questions or thoughts in Twitter or Instagram. As we speak now, it looks like Billy Gilmour doing some gamesmanship perhaps here. Was that Jack Hendry? Don't know. Let's have a look at the replay. Yeah. So Billy Gilmour coming here. He's coming off for number 23 for Scotland, which is McLean. Kenny McLean, the midfielder. He'll do a like for like kind of role to Billy Gilmour. Hasn't played too badly for Norwich. Maybe not this season, previous season. He did quite well for them. Kenny McLean well known to the Scottish setup anyway. As we slowly approach the 80th minute mark. 10 minutes ago, Scotland won, Switzerland won. Scotland will be purring if they can see this out currently. They've done reasonably well given the circumstances. They've fought hard. Grit, determination is what I would use to describe this performance. A huge improvement from Friday's game against the Germans. Obviously, there was probably low expectation that they would do much against the Germans anyway. But they have done superbly well against the Swiss side that I anticipated to do better than they have shown tonight. I think that's due to their formation at times here. Not forcing the issue, not causing Scotland too many questions. And that's a bit of a disappointment because from my point of view, I had the Swiss down as my dark horses. This performance makes me rethink that now. But inevitably, every time that I've called out a dark horse, it turns out to be a terrible prediction. I was one of the guilty parties last tournament where I kind of called out Turkey to be the dark horses. And we know what happened then. Scotland on the attack here. Andrew Robertson. Oh, Scott McTominay there with what looked like a superbly well taken half volley there. Hit the Swiss defender. It's cleared out by the Swiss. Scotland putting a lot of pressure here in the latter stages of this match. They're doing superbly well. This despite not having necessarily a target man. I think Che Adams is absolutely shattered here, by the way. He looks absolutely shattered. Is this where Steve Clarke needs to make the change? Up top. Get one of those strikers with fresh legs on now. See if they can be the hero of the moment for Scotland. Che Adams doing superbly well there, but he gives away the ball, unfortunately. You thought his teammate was going to fall through. And Bolo's just running through on goal now here. And he's given the Swiss the lead. As we spoke about Scotland potentially holding out here, but it's been given as offside. Did the Scots get away with this? Let's have a look at this on the replay. Oh, he is just offside. Superbly taken by Mbolo. The scenes behind the goal are something else. Such a shame. Such a shame. I thought we were going to see Scotland throw away all of that effort, but they've been saved by the virtue even, that was offside. They'll be relieved. But Steve Clarke, please, whatever you do now, make that change. Take off Che Adams and put on another striker with some legs on now. Che Adams has done superbly well, considering he's basically been working on just vibes and energy. He's not been able to have any kind of clear sight of goal, really. He's just been running around the place, making himself a bit of a nuisance, shall we say. Anyway, Swiss with the attack, Undoy. Let's see what he can do. Again, superb with his dribbling skills. Again, showing what he does at Bologna. Oh, Xhaka. With a poor ball there. Goes straight out for a goal kick for Angus Gunn. We're reaching the 84th minute mark here, guys. 84th minute. Get your thoughts, questions. Not much longer of this watch along to go. If you've got any thoughts, questions, get onto the YouTube channel. Do us a favor as well. If you're not subscribed to our channel, we'd really appreciate you subscribing to us. We're only on 293. We'd love to get to 500. That will help us with our goals. Very modest goals, should we say, as well. And in return, if you have any kind of content that you'd like us as a podcast to do, we'd duly oblige with that as well. And if you can, in the process, give us a like to this watch along as well. That will help us with the algorithm and show people actually care. So let's see. Anyway, back to this. Angus Gunn clearing after a through ball there from the Swiss. John McGinn again being a bit of a brute up top, putting himself out and about there. Ball is recycled by the Scots. Angus Gunn hooves it back up the field. Received by Adams there. Advantage is played by the referee as McKenna is on the ball. Passes it to Adams. It's foul now on Adams, and a yellow card has resulted to thieir. Let's see what happens here now. Looks like there was going to be a substitution being made as well. Just looking at the replay, referee got that really wrong there. There's barely any touch on Adams there. Adams made a meal of it. Gamesmanship there from Shea Adams. Anyway, Wimmer is coming off for Switzerland. He is being replaced by, looks like, Sterego, and we've got Zeki Amadini coming on for Ndoye. Let's see what the Burnley man can do then. He's a man that's really impressed me actually this season. He's been playing really well for Burnley, despite Burnley not offering too much this season. Scotland on the edge of the Swiss area. Low shot, but it's well received by Jan Sommer there. So we enter the last 4 minutes plus any injury time. I'd estimate at least another minimum of 3. Let's see. Can Scotland see this through? Steve Clarke. I still think you should take off Shea Adams. Get some fresh legs. Give someone the opportunity to be a hero here. Been really impressed by Conway at Bristol City this season. Could he be given an opportunity? What about Shankland as well? Having a renaissance of a career so far. Doing well at Hearts this season. Swiss haven't got that same intensity that they had in the first half. It feels like the second half has taken its toll on them. They have been really, really lethargic in terms of the way they've approached it at times. I appreciate that you have to be patient sometimes when it comes to international football, but maybe a measure of how well Scotland have applied themselves in the second half as well. But I was expecting a lot more from the Swiss side. It still feels and looks like that they've stuck with the same formation as well. Murat, Yakin, not really changing the style of the kind of formation. Now, I appreciate sometimes you need to kind of keep to that philosophy. That's a philosophy that maybe sticks with the players. They're more comfortable with it, etc. But when you're talking about group stages, results to impact group stages, this is what you need to do. You need to change it up a bit. Anyway, Scotland through Andrew Robertson giving away a free kick there to Switzerland. It's about 45 yards out, I'd say, from goal now here. We're approaching the 80th minute mark now. Just showing the lines with Mbolo's goal. That was ruled offside as we speak. A bit late. I don't know why the hell they're showing it now when we're looking at a free kick against Scotland. Raider lining up here. Looks like he's going to curl something into the box here. Let's see what he can do. He does. And I cannot believe that. Amodini, they're missing what looks like an easier header to get on target. He somehow got it on the other side of the post there. Anyway, as we speak, Ryan Christie is coming or looking to come on, as is Jason Shankland as well. So John McGinn coming off here, and I would not be surprised yet. It is Shea Adams that's also going to be coming off. These are the subs that should have happened about 10 minutes ago, to be frank. But both of these players in Adams and McGinn have worked themselves to the ground. Well deserved the applause that they're getting right now. And as we speak, 4 minutes of injury time being added here as well. So, chance for someone to make themselves a hero here tonight. Can they get Scotland all 3 points in this group stage match? Switzerland's looking very disappointing in the second half in particular, not applying themselves in the same manner as they did in the first half. And a lot of that is credit to Scotland for the way that they've applied themselves. Andrew Robertson with a ball from the left-hand side, slightly overrun, goes to Ralston here. Ralston gets the cross, but it's cleared out by the Swiss. And then we've got Paul McGregor gets the ball into Andrew Robertson on the far side, and it's cleared away from Manuel Akanji there and the Swiss defence. Subsequently, Paul McGregor cannot get his result and volley down, and it ends up in a goal kick for Jan Sommer. Scotland almost causing an issue there for the Swiss in the latter stages of this match. Manuel Akanji doing superbly well because he was pressurized there by Scott McTominay, and he's celebrating that, which is laughable given that we've still got some time in this match. The Swiss have struggled here. The Swiss have struggled. That's a lot of compliments to the Scots and the way that they applied themselves. A lot better performance when you compare this to the Germany game as well. 2 more minutes to be played here, folks. 2 more minutes. The Swiss are holding their breath now. Can they do another attack? Scotland, can they run themselves to the ground to ensure that they earn themselves a point here? This could be massive. Fabian Schär playing it back to Jan Sommer here. Ball going back to Manuel Akanji now. We've got 1.5 minutes to go, should I say. I was going to say 2, but it's 1.5 minutes to go. Ricardo Rodriguez. Unable to do anything there, plays it back. This is the problem with the Swiss in the second half. They played quite lethargically. Mbolo almost latching onto Zeki Amodini's through ball there. But Angus Gunn is that bit quicker. He manages to pull himself back into the position to claim the ball. Ball is booted up. Shankland's unable to control it, but he gets hold of the ball again. Plays it back into midfield, and it goes back to Andrew Robertson on that left-hand side. However, he is well tackled by the Swiss right back there. 1 more minute to go, folks. I can see that the result has been confirmed, so my stream is a bit slow. So we've got 30 seconds of this. Scotland booting the ball. Let's see. Did they get a chance before full time? Ball in the box. It's recycled again to Andrew Robertson, who heads it down. Gets it onto the side. Andrew Robertson with the cross. Cleared by the Swiss. The Swiss put their bodies on the line here. And the referee blows up. What a point for Scotland. Fantastic performance by the Scots and Steve Clarke's men. They do superbly well on this evening. They gain themselves a point, and that was well deserved in the end. I feared for the Scots in the first half. They managed to get themselves ahead courtesy of Scott McTominay and Fabian Schär. Fantastic counter-attacking effort, more born through grit than anything else. So they got themselves ahead in this match. However, poorly back pass ball by Ralston allowed the initiative for Shaqiri to get the Swiss back into this match. The Swiss subsequently scoring there and then could have gone ahead in the first half. Ndoye being adjudged to be offside when he was clever to kind of react to a corner routine. And unfortunately, it was adjudged to be offside. Subsequently, however, we did see Mbolo also having an opportunity when he came on. That was the kind of substitution that I alluded to that I felt that they needed to do a lot earlier. As it was, Mbolo was adjudged to have been offside as well for that move. So as Mons Sportif relays back to me, nail biter, we live on. You certainly do, sir. You certainly do. But fantastic kind of effort in that second half. You put the Swiss under pressure in that second half. That was the kind of effort I think Scotland fans will be proud of, is how you approached it. I think the only criticism that I'd have of Steve Clarke was not maybe making the change up top. I can understand why he didn't do that. Shea Adams tried his best, but he barely got a touch up top. And I think that's probably the only concern that I have going into that Hungary game. You're going to need to have someone that can be more of a target man, just to hold up that ball sometimes. Shea Adams, a lot of running, a lot of determination. He held up the ball at times superbly, right? But I just feel like that's what Scotland were lacking at times in the attack. Especially with free kicks, they need to do so much better when they get those opportunities. But lots to reflect on. I'm sure that's a lot of learnings for Steve Clarke and his men. Gives them hope, more importantly. They can still qualify out of this group. They can get a result against Hungary, and this will be an interesting third round game. So with that, all I'm going to say is thank you to everyone that has decided to watch me and go through this watch along here of Switzerland versus Scotland. If you could do me a favor, go onto YouTube, subscribe to our channel, give us a like to this watch along. It will be really appreciated. But I bid you farewell. Have a great evening and join me tomorrow as we'll do the watch along of Spain versus Italy. See you there, guys. Take care.